Hi, Doc.
Hello, Evans.
Yeah, good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon. Please, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. And you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience.
A lot of it, huh?
Mm.
Okay, so I thought we were expecting not less than 30 people. So
Most
we
of
have
my most of my
we,
batch are in. Grace,
Yes,
are your people in?
yes, some of them are in. So
Grace, where are the rest?
uh, I'll call them again. I told them so. I don't know why they are not here. So I'll reach out to them again.
Okay, but was it an agreement? I mean, did you guys all
Yes,
agree that
yes,
we
please.
would start earlier?
Yes, yes, please.
Because I wouldn't want people canceling their Valentine reservations for um, my class, as I have rather decided. I no, I think you have rather decided to reschedule. So if we are all in
Okay,
agreement, I think that's
okay.
fine. Okay, so if I can give you guys about, let's say, 2 minutes, 2 minutes to check on the others if you would send them messages or reminders.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway, please, it's Matthew and Anthony here.
I think Anthony is on the call.
Okay.
Anthony,
Yes, Evans.
Anthony, how come I've not heard from you the whole year? What's happening to you?
How many doing here, Doc?
Anyway, many happy returns. Thank you. Um, okay, I think we have about 23, including myself and I think the host.
Matthew is also joining.
Okay, guys, so good, it's afternoon. Right, so good afternoon to you all. My name is Afarebea, and I'll be taking you through game theory and mechanism design. And hmm, this is the first class, so this is going to be an introductory class. So Are you all economics and informatics students?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it means that we all have done microeconomics, right? We've done microeconomics, we know about firms and all that. Oh, let me at least show my video for a few minutes, and also to save some data afterwards, I'll put it off so that we all have a sense of, we can put a face to the name. Okay, so Evans, can you see me?
Yes, I can. It's very clear.
Okay, okay. So if Evans can see me, then that's fine, because he's the one who owes me Valentine dinner today. He's taking me out actually, because he made me cancel my reservations for the evening. Anyway, so my name is Afarebea, as I mentioned, and we'll be doing game theory today. I would introduce it to you. I would also would want to check what you know, how far you've gone with microeconomics, because we'll be applying what we learned in microeconomics with regards to firms, individuals, utility, and those things. So I would have to test your knowledge on what you know, and then we'll take it from there. Since today is introductory class, you would have an overview of everything, okay? Right from game theory, mechanism design, a little bit of auctions, and then starting next week, of course, I'll give you assignments. So starting next week, we would delve into some technical issues. So today is just for you to understand what it is, so that whenever you want to study all by yourself, at least you have a sense of what you are going to learn. Then, as I mentioned, I'll give you assignment. Forgive me. I think when I mention assignment, I could even sense Grace discomfort. Grace, we'll be having assignment.
Okay.
I hope you understand that.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will be having assignments, lots of assignments, and we all have to be engaged on the LMS. So unfortunately, I did not get access to the LMS early enough to put all the materials there. But luckily for me, I got that yesterday. So before Tuesday, you would have almost all the materials with the outline, um, the reading materials, slides, as and when. Some of the slides we'll be building it together, okay? Because some of them would have to use notations. So I need to explain some to you. So as we are learning, we'll be building some of the slides together. And then you also have your assignments on the LMS. If there is a need for us to use Google Forms, I would send the link to the class rep. Grace, you are the class rep for the other group, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I would send the Google links to Grace and then Evans, and then you have to do the assignment in there. If you'd have to write something out to you do. I do hope that you have groups so that we could as well do group assignments, because I'm sensing that since this is mostly a weekend class, so we are going to meet on weekends. If we don't find ways and means of engaging you during the week, I'll only see you guys opening your books on Saturdays. And that is if I'm even fortunate enough that someone is not going to take the last funeral speech or whatever. So you would open your books on Saturday. So we will be engaging more often within the week and also on weekends, right? So the weekends will be face-to-face, and then during the week will be engagement on the LMS where you would have assignments and some, group work, or let me say projects that you would be doing. So let's start with game theory. I hope I can put my video off now so we can put a face to the name, right? Matthew, you are welcome. Why am I seeing lots of men? Okay, I see Debbie. Debbie is here. And I see, so aside Grace, I know Debbie is here. Who else? How many ladies are in the class?
Prof, a handful.
We are only
Four of them. We have
Only
Jennifer,
4.
A
Jennifer,
handful.
Esther, Priscilla, Debbie.
Wow.
Grace.
Okay. Okay, so you've not been able to mention 5. That's fine. Okay, anyway. So we can start. Let me share my screen. Before we start, let me find out from you microeconomics. Types of firms. Are we familiar with the types of firms as far as microeconomics is concerned? We've done microeconomics, right?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So microeconomics, types of firms. Matthew, your video is on, showing me where you are. Okay, so Michael, since I've seen your face, maybe you can tell us types of firms. If you can mention 1 or 2. Anthony. And somebody is saying, hey, Charlie, this woman cry. What's this? Anthony. Okay, Peter, your microphone is on.
Yes, Doc.
Hello,
Doc,
Doc.
Yes.
please, we have the spread competition firm.
The what?
Monopoly.
Okay, monopoly, right.
Perfect competition.
Perfect competition. Okay, so what is the monopoly about? What does it
Mon-
say?
Monopoly, one seller. It's in a situation where there's one seller, no closer
Okay. And what about perfect
over
competition?
price. These are some of the characteristics existing in the market, the monopoly market.
Okay. Okay. So what about the perfect competition? Who just spoke? Peter, right? Was it Peter? Please, who just spoke?
Fruits are identical or homogeneous. Let's say the Gary, we have the same Gary. No control over price. There's price taker.
Okay. Okay, Peter, thank you very much. Your line is breaking, so we could hear bits and pieces of what you are saying.
Please, is it okay now?
Yes.
Hello,
So
Okay.
basically, if
Hello, please, Doc, is it okay now?
Yes, Peter. So Peter, we heard what you said about the monopoly market. Thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome.
let's listen to Matthew.
yes, so basically for the perfect competition, these are the space whereby the practitioners or those who are involved do not have any boundaries of entry or exit. So it's a space where prices are fairly known to everybody, and there's a lot of players. You can easily enter and then also easily exit at your own pace. Yes, and price
Okay,
determination is
so you said
price
something
determination.
about entry and exit for perfect competition. What did you say? Can you repeat that?
Yes, so when you want to maybe venture into space or sell products that are being sold in this common markets, you are free to do that without any restrictions. Unlike the monopoly, whereby mostly government enterprises are those, like how we have Ghana Water Company or ECG taking charge of our electrical issues in the country. For this particular space, you can easily sell. For instance, if you are maybe an Indomie seller along the road, you don't need any restrictive measures to set up your roadside business to start selling for consumers to buy. Yeah, so that's for the perfect competition. You can easily also close down and then and exit the markets anytime you want. Yes,
Okay.
and price is also driven by the markets, by the buying and selling or the demand for the product.
Right. Okay, so I mean that's right. It's the example that you used, which is a little bit of a problem, but it's understandable why you use the Indomie. So one key thing about the perfect competition is that the goods are homogeneous, right? So yours is not different from mine, right? So that is the perfect. Okay, so we could have another market where there are slight, changes where I can maybe garnish mine in a particular way. But for a perfect competition, the goods are homogeneous, so we sell the same thing. Mine is not different from yours, not even in terms of packaging, right? So that is one thing that we need to note. Okay, so some of us are what now tasting economics. How does it taste, Eric? Eric, how does it taste so far?
Hello.
Yeah, yes,
So far, so good. So we will get along.
you get along. That's fine. So bit by bit, right? Okay, so I do understand. So
Yeah.
it means we have different classes, right? We have those who have just, Moses said the general intake class started microeconomics theory today. Oh, okay. So it means you don't really have details on, but you guys have done a little bit of economics. So from, prior knowledge from undergrad, you do have some level of, at least you've heard something like that, firms and all that.
Yeah,
Utility.
very.
Okay, so I do understand that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll try as much as possible to break some of these down to everybody's, level of understanding. If you do have any problems understanding what I'm trying to say, or you want me to go over something, kindly let me know and I'll be glad to do that. So let's start with the game theory. So let me share my screen. Okay, so please, I hope we can see my screen, right?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Okay, so when we talk about game theory, I don't know if anybody has heard of game theory before. Anybody to share an idea of what game theory is? Peter, your microphone is on again. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you, Doc.
Okay. Do you want to share something?
Yes, the little I can say about game theory is how people, organization make decisions when their outcome depend on what others choose to do.
Right.
That's the little
Okay.
I can.
So basically, we are studying the interaction of decision makers, right? So at the end of the day, we have to make decisions for, certain things. Somebody said life is a game, whether you like it or not. So whatever it is, we need to make certain decisions at every point in time. So being it individuals, being it firms, governments, even married couples, you still need to make certain decisions. And these decisions will be also based on other people's decisions or, their actions. So game theory, I would say, is studying this kind of interaction that these decision makers make, okay? We could have 2 people involved in a particular game. We could have 3 people. We could have a lot of people, okay? Depending on the kind of game that we are looking at. So we say that it's a study that is used in what? Economics, politics, contracts, market analysis, and all that. And if you are somebody who really understands some of these things, you even apply it to your relationships and your marriages. So we will be looking at some of these things. We'll be looking at strategic business decisions based on games and the outcomes. And then we'll also look at some very, life decisions that we could apply some of these things, though that is not really the focus, but just to help us think outside the box as far as this concept is concerned. So what is the focus? We are looking at rational decision making, okay, and the strategic interdependence. And when we talk about strategic interdependence, that is what Peter rightly said. The decision is based on another person's decision or action, okay? And then if there are 2 people involved, whatever you are doing is based on what I will do, and mine is also based on what you will do. We will be looking at them in detail. So there are cases where some of you, some players would need to come together in order to, have the optimal outcome. There are cases where we are more or less playing against each other, right? And so we'll look at each of these. So how do we describe a game? Basically, there are several ways that we can describe a game, right? But for the purposes of this class, we group it into 2. We look at the strategic form and also the extensive form, okay? So the strategic form, we are considering one game, and then the players making their strategic decisions. And then the extensive form, we'll look at that in detail next week. So basic elements of a game. As far as a game is concerned, who have watched this game before, this movie? 2 can play that game. I'm sure a couple of you, maybe Grace or Jennifer, or as for the women, they do love movies. So there is this movie called 2 Can Play That Game. And I think in the movie, a couple guys who wanted to come together, but instead of working together, they were playing each other more or less. Okay. If he doesn't call me, I won't call him. If I don't call him, he will. If I call him too much, he will think this. So it's a game basically. One thinking, if I do this, the other person will do that, and he might think this. So let me do this instead of that. Basically, that's the game. So in a game, we have players, right? Players, and these are the decision makers. So they are the ones who decide that, oh, let me do it this way, let me do it that way. Well, I think that this person is going to do it this way, so I would rather do it that way, right? So these are the players. And then we also have the strategies. And when we talk about the strategies, we are talking about the complete action plans, okay? So if it is a couple, maybe today somebody is thinking, oh, is he going to call me? No, if he calls me, maybe I won't pick I won't pick on the first dial. I'll rather pick on the second dial. Or if I pick on the first dial, he might think that I'm into it too much. So the strategy is that let him call 2 times and then I'll pick the second one, something like that. In terms of a football game, I think we all know. As for the men, they can tell us a lot about this. So we do have a strategy, right? So let's play what? 4-4-2 or 3-2, whatever. Matthew, are you here? Evans,
Doc, I'm here.
Doc, we are here
what are some of the strategies?
in football.
Yes, in football.
So you can play 3 back.
You can go defense or attack.
You can go defense or attack, right?
Yeah.
And these are based on what? So the players are the teams, right? So we have 2 teams.
It depends on the team, the kind of players that you have, and the opponent.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you are facing a team that have a very tough striker, a well-known or renowned striker, then you would have to, strategize.
Do
In Ghana,
man
it's
marking.
sorry?
Man marking.
Man marking. Okay. So that will be the strategy. So as you are on the field, you are thinking that as for this particular team, we'll face them with, we will face them close marking, right? We'll give them close marking.
Yes.
So these are strategies, right? And then we have the payoffs. So payoffs are the utilities from the outcomes. And I do hope we understand what utility is, right? What is utility in economics?
The satisfaction derived.
The satisfaction derived, right?
Yeah.
Can you answer my next question since Anthony didn't let you answer this one? So it's the satisfaction derived. So at the end of the day, what are you getting out of it? Basically, the outcome, right? So if we play the game and then the scores are, let's say 3-2, okay? So that is the outcome. The other team got 2, the other one got 3. So that is the outcome. Basically, is the payoff. For every game, we do have the payoffs. And then we also have what we call the information, okay? So information is what players know when choosing. So at the end of the day, this is some kind of information that you have about the game. Do we get the point? So we all know that, okay, so the first team is coming with 11 people. I am also coming with 11 people. So this is that's the information, right? Next is that we do have one goalkeeper. You have one goalkeeper, I have another one goalkeeper. So this is also an information. So we all know the rules of the game, right? Perhaps you have an information on who maybe their striker is, who their coach is, the techniques that the coach normally use. So this is basically some information that you have, right, when choosing. So based on that information, you make your decision, or your action. I hope we understand. So information, basically what you know, and that is what guides you to, act the way you will do. So if at the end of the day you are meeting a very tough team with a very, a renowned striker, as Matthew said, then you are thinking of doing close marking, right? So it is because of that information that you have, the prior information that you had, which is why you are doing close marking. Assuming the striker is as good as me, then you would know what to do. You are like, oh, these people, let's leave them. Let's rather get our striker to, push, because those people, they can't score in any way. Okay. So it's in all games, right? The players, the strategies, the pair-offs, and the information. Okay. So I mentioned that we are looking at two types of games, or two descriptions of games. We are looking at the strategic form and also the extensive form. So what is the strategic form? Basically, the strategic form is that one that looks at some number of players, right, who choose simultaneously. Okay. So if you will permit me, let me see if I can write certain things on the slide, some notation, so that at some point when I'm using notations to represent some of the things I'm saying, you wouldn't get surprised. Okay. So in this case, we might have about, So in this case, we might have, forgive me when I touch this. Please, I hope you still can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. So we do have what's happening? Okay. So I'm going to write on the presentation, okay? So we do have some number of players. I mentioned that we could have 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So we do have, let's say, since we don't know, I'm using 1 up to 2 up to, let's say, n, right? Forgive me, my pen is acting up, so I'm using my hand. I won't write a lot. Maybe I'll type them and send them to you later. But this will give us a better idea as far as the notations is concerned. Sometimes just the words are not enough. And I hope you all know that in economics, just the words and the presentations are not enough. You have to mathematically explain what it is that you are trying to say. I know some of you who don't like maths. No, the people who don't like maths are not happy with this. But this class, because it is economics and informatics, you all like maths, right? So it it will even it will be better than just the words. So we are assuming that we have n players, okay? So with n players, we are saying that each player, assuming that each player is being represented by I, okay? Each player has a set of strategies, okay? Now, this set of strategies, they choose from the strategies, they choose their actions, okay? So before any game at all, we do have a set of strategies. So every team, whatever it is, even if it's an individual, you have some set of strategies. So you know that, oh, if I don't do this, I'll do that. If these people bring this person to start the game, then we would rather put this one first. If they are bringing this person, then we'll put this one first. Or maybe this person is going to play halftime, the other person is going to play the the first half, or this is how we are going to do it. So all these are combinations and they are sets of strategies that you already have. From these set of strategies, you choose your outcome. I hope we understand. So we have the set of strategies. Sorry, you choose your action. Forgive me. So you have your set of strategies, and from the set of strategies, you choose your action. Okay. So the women, you can, I don't know the very basic example I can give, but assuming that um maybe your actions based on what you will cook, the meal that you will cook today will be based on some things like the rain, the weather for today, or um, when you close from work. So somebody will say that, oh, I have stew in the fridge. I have this in the fridge. If I close from work early, then I'll just put rice on fire. But if I don't close, if I don't close early, I'll put rice on fire. But if I close early enough, then maybe today we can do some banku and then some okra stew and all that. So based on based on these strategies, you choose one of the actions at the end of the day. I hope you do understand. So you have several strategies. Either you do this or you do that, or you do this or you do that. So all those things are the set of strategies. They are combinations, okay, that you do have. At the end of the day, you choose from it. So you choose a particular action from it. So in this case, our set of strategies can be represented by a small s, like, why is my pen acting out? A small s like this, and this s will belong to your set of strategies. So this small one is your action, and then this big one is the set of strategies that you do have. Please, do you understand what I'm saying?
No, madam.
Jennifer, Ohineba, you understand, right?
No, please. Please
No,
go
you
over again.
don't. Okay.
Yes.
Jennifer, what about you? What about Debbie? Hey, the women have left me for the men. Oh, Grace.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Grace, thank you for being here. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that, Ohineba, what I'm saying is that in a game, right? I think I told you about the uh, various elements. So we do have the players, right? We have the players, we have the strategies, okay? And then we have the outcomes, and then we have the what we call the information, okay? Do you understand those four? So, guys, sorry about that. Ohineba, I asked, do you understand the players? Do you understand up to that point that we do have these four elements, the players, the strategies, the payoffs, and the information? Do you understand it up to that point so that I can take it? Guys, do you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, Doc, we do.
Okay.
Yes,
Please.
yes.
Okay. So what I was saying was that as far as a game is concerned, we do have the players. These are the people who they choose, right? And they make the decisions. And then we have the strategies. The strategies is what you will do, right? Or what you can do at the end of the day. Then we have the payoffs. So after the game, what is the utility that you get, or what are the outcomes? And then we have the information. What did you know about the game before it even started? So these are the four main elements that we always have to bear in mind. The players, who are the players, the strategies, the uh, payoffs or the utilities or the outcomes, and the information. Okay, so these are the four things. Then I said that we do have two forms of the games. We have what we call the strategic ones and we have the extensive ones. Okay, now the strategic ones is what I'm trying to explain. And I'm saying that with the strategic ones, we are saying that we have players that choose strategy simultaneously. Okay, so what happens is that we do have some number of players. It could be one, it could be two, it could be three. I mean, for purposes of this class, we will start with two, okay? But you would realize that at the end of the day, we can have four players. We can have 10 players. We can have a number of players, okay? So given the players, we do have, let's say, n players, right? Now, these n players, so this n could represent one, it could represent two, it could represent three, it could represent four, it could represent five, and so on and so forth. And we are saying that the players could range from one up to n, a number that any number at all, it could take any number at all. Okay. So we can have one, two, three, four, five, and so on and so forth. Then we do have the strategies. So I've already spoken about the players, and we all know that these are the people who make the decisions, those who are playing the game. Then we do have the strategies. So the strategies is what you can do, okay? The various things that you can do as far as the game is concerned. So what can we do? So either we make Pele, forgive my ignorance in football, but either we make Pele, I can say something about long tennis, maybe. So assuming it's a clay court, right? It's a clay court or a grass court. You know you are very good on a clay court, and your opponent is very swift. Okay. So your opponent doesn't like to be slowed down. Maybe your strategy will be that you slow the game down to frustrate your opponent and then you win the game. Okay. So it's either you slow down or you play in response to your opponent, or you decide to do a long whatever or a backhand, more backhand. And these are all strategies, things that you can do in the game. So what will be your strategy? Maybe in the beginning, I'll frustrate the person. When the person is frustrated, then I'll give the person some shots and I win the game. So these are the strategies. Now, based on the strategies, you would select some actions, okay? So either you are picking strategy one or strategy two or strategy three. So you have a set of strategies. So in our minds, what are sets? Okay. Let's go back to JSS or even primary school sets. Okay. So you have some collection of strategies that you do have. And within these collection of strategies, you have actions, various actions that you can take. Ohineba, do you understand it now? Evans, do you understand it?
Yes, Doc.
Grace, what about you? Okay, so Ahineba, who asked the question is
Understand.
Grace, what did he say?
Yes, please. I'm also following. I understand.
Okay, all right. So these are what we are talking about. So we do have the players, we do have the strategies. The strategies you have, it's a set, and based on these strategies, you choose a particular action. Okay, and then we also look at the payoffs. So as far as the payoffs are concerned, maybe we can choose to represent the payoffs by this notation phi, okay? Phi. Evans, please, right after the class, remind me to share the document with you, and then of course the presentation.
Okay, Doc.
Okay. So the documents will have, you'll see these better and clearly. In the next meeting, I'll work on my pen, and I think I'll write better than this one. So you have the payoffs, and the payoffs is also a function of the strategy, right? So if you would recall, maybe in one of your latest matches, you are like, actually, this coach, why will he let this guy start the match? Why will this guy be playing and this one will be sitting on the bench? If he had made so and so play first, we wouldn't have lost by 2 goals to nil or 2 goals to one. Oh, do you understand? So what you are insinuating is that the payoff or the outcome of the game depended on the coach's strategy. So we are saying that the outcome, which is we are representing by phi I, is a, is a function of the strategy. Okay. So based on whatever strategy there is, then our outcome will be what we have there. So it could be any function. Okay. So as time goes on with your homework, we will be looking at, let's say, a function where the strategy will be this, and then you'll be inserting the figures there in order to establish the payoff, and then you would tell us what the dominant strategy is. So what would have been the best decision to take if you were a coach or you were the player? So what kind of decision that you take? So I'm just, as I'm saying, I'm just introducing these things to you, but when we get into more details, you appreciate it better. So at the end of the day, we are saying that the payoff is a function of the strategy, right? So in this case, which is the strategic form of games, what are the assumptions? What are we really looking at? We are saying that we have some common knowledge, okay? But common knowledge on what? First of all, we have common knowledge on the description of the game. So we all know what the game is about. If it is football, we all know what the game is. We all know the number of people who are playing the game. We all know that we play for 45 minutes initially, have a break, and then play the next 45 minutes. We all know that we should have one goalkeeper who at some point is not supposed to touch the ball. At some point, he's supposed to touch the ball. We all know that the others too, at some point are not supposed to touch the ball. At some point, they are supposed to touch the ball, which is why when somebody, when there is a default or something, no, sorry, when there is, please excuse me. So that when to know that has committed a foul or something, okay? So maybe the person's hand touched, say, no, this one is a foul, or maybe this one is a penalty, and so on and so forth. So initially, we are saying that we all know the description of the game. Guys, I'm only using football just for this part of it, but later on, we are going to use the firms and then some other vivid examples in economics. Then we also have a common knowledge of the strategies. You have an idea that if I put this person there, these people are going to attack. If I put this person there, maybe these people, this will be their striker, they are going to do this. You have an idea of the strategies available to the other people. Okay, thus they are likely to slow down the game at some point when we have scored more than they have, they are likely to slow down the game. Maybe somebody will be lying on the floor as if. So you know that all these are strategies in the game. Okay, so everybody has a common knowledge on the strategies that are available to the players. So these are strategies that are allowed in the game. Each player knows that the other person knows that they know the strategy, okay? So that if I'm slowing down a particular game, you know that I know that you are slowing down the game, okay? Which is why sometimes when there is a game and then things down, somebody lies down and say, "Oh, Masa, he's lying. Charlie, get up and let's." And others also, the other team also know that, oh, these people want to rush it because they also want to go and score and all that. So we all playing 4-4-2 or 4-4. Forgive me, they are playing this or that, and the other team also knows what these people know. So everybody knows that the other person knows this strategy, and then the other also knows that the team in of the strategies. Okay, so we can talk about the payoffs more or less. So the payoffs, so we said that we could show this with a matrix, some of the metrics. But before that, we are also saying that there's a common knowledge that each player is rational. This is something that is very key because in most cases, uh, if we don't put this caveat there, somebody will say that, but what if the person does this? Or what if the person didn't know? What if the person had acted this way? So is that it is a common knowledge that each player is rational. So I know that my opponent is rational, and my opponent also knows that I am rational, right? So these are the established assumptions underlying this. So with strategic simultaneously, they are represented by payoff matrices, which we'll see shortly. And then each cell shows payoffs for strategy combinations. So let's look at an example of this. Okay, so let me clean what I wrote initially. So let's look at examples of what we've spoken about. The first one is matching pennies, right? So we are looking at, I think I should have used coins. Okay, so the first one is matching coins, right? So we all it has two sizes. We have the head and then we have the tail. Maybe in Ghana we might have a different name for it. Mr. Jari? Yes, Mr. Jari.
Yes, madam.
Mr. Jari, I'll be happy if you put your video off a bit for me, I beg.
Yeah, madam.
Aha, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we do have matching coins, right? So in this case, we have two players that are available. So the strategies are you throwing a coin, and you would have either a head or a tail showing up. Okay, so the first one, on the first throw, you could get a head or a tail. The next one, you could get a head or a tail. I mean, depending. But in this case, we are assuming we are playing only one throw at a time in the matrix form. So we don't have Frida, right? You guys didn't mention Frida in the class. Evans, who is your friend in the class?
They are all my friends. So
No, I want a female.
we can use Debbie.
I can use Debbie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well,
So we have Debbie and Evans. Debbie and Evans, this game is for you, okay? Now, the women might appreciate this better. I'm sure some of the men who have seen that game, the game of Ampe, right? Game of Ampe, think of it. If we do have, I think I call it Oshiwa and Okonton or whatever. Grace, can you help me? Who can help me? How that game works? Because the strategy is just like this one.
They are all the bees.
Oh, sorry. So you've not played Ampe before? Hey, that is serious.
Oh,
That's serious. Oh.
so we have Oshete and Okondo in
Okay,
So it
so
means
what
that
happens? What happens with the
when it's when you guys show the same legs, maybe right and right,
okay,
yes, and the other when maybe the other side shows right and you show left. That
okay.
is it.
So it just so happens that one of the players will win when the other throws when their feet meet, right? And then I think the other side, assuming this one throws this leg and the other person throws the other leg, then the other person wins. Okay. So in this case, this payoff, again, let me use this. So the first lines are for Evans. Okay. So let me use the red for Evans, and then maybe I'll use the green or something for Debbie. So if you play head-head, right? Now Evans wins. Okay, so Evans gets one. Okay. Now, if Evans plays a tail and Debbie plays a head, then Evans will lose, right? So if they are playing this, if they have the same side showing up, the game is for Evans. Okay. If they have different sides showing up, then the game is for Debbie. I hope this is clear. So the red ones are for Evans and the green one is for Debbie. Okay, guys, I hope this is clear. So we do have Evans and Debbie. So the green ones are for Debbie, the red ones are for Evans. So in this particular game, Evans played the head. This first quadrant, Evans played the head and Debbie plays a head. So because we have a head, it's a win for, right? So Debbie will lose this one. Then when Evans plays a tail and Debbie plays a head, it's a win for, it's a loss for Evans, and then it's a win for Debbie. Now, when we come here in this quadrant, I hope you can see my cursor. When we come here in this quadrant, if Evans plays a head, we have different sides. So it's a loss for Evans and it's a win for Debbie. And when we come here, if both of them plays head, tail, if Evans plays a tail and Debbie plays a tail, we do have a win for Evans and we do have a loss for Debbie. Is this clear? So this is what we call the matching points, okay? Okay, so given this, we call this the zero-sum game, right? Given that whatever Evans loses, that is what Debbie gains, okay? And what Evans loses, I mean, it works on both sides. So in this case, we do have a zero-sum game. We can have what we call the variable sum game, but I'll explain that in detail. But let's move to the next example and see. Guys, is this clear? Any question?
No question, madam.
No question.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so let me clean this and then we can talk about this game. So we have the next game, which is called the Prisoner's Dilemma. I don't know if you've ever heard of. Actually, we do have, so at the back of my mind, we all know the elements, right? So the elements of this game, the players, right? So in this particular game, we have 2 players. Strategies, we have either you cooperate or you defect. In this case, we are looking at either you confess or you don't confess, okay? Guys, forgive me, right? So assuming Matthew and Anthony went on a robbery spree, and at the end of the day,
Already
and at the end of
accepted.
the day, they and at the end of the day, they were caught. Okay. So there are 2 players, right? There are police is not able to, like, they did a clean job, they did I don't even know the kind of movie I should use to explain the kind of clean job that they had done. They did a clean job, okay? Now, they've been caught, but the police do not have enough evidence against these people. All that, the evidence they have is not really enough, but the police know that, okay? So in this case, the police would need further evidence in order to, you know, really get these people. But how do they get the evidence? Because they've tried, they are not getting any. So they come up with this strategy. Now, the strategy is that let's go and to these people. And then either we reduce their prison sentence, or let's go and have some negotiation with them. So the strategy is that either Matthew confesses or refuses to confess. So they're just 2. You either confess or you refuse to confess. Only the same strategy. So they've put the same strategy for both of you. Now, the 2 of you are not in the same cell. One is in another cell, because as soon as they caught both of you, they took all your phones, they took everything. Now you can't talk to anybody. So you are in cell 1, the other person is also in the other cell. You can't communicate in any way. Then they come and tell you that, now, Matthew, if you confess, right? If you confess and Anthony refuses to confess, you only stay in prison. Now, if you don't confess and Anthony confesses, Anthony is going to get only 1 year, and you, Matthew, will get 10 years. This is the whole thing, right? So this is the strategy. Either you confess or you don't confess. However, these are the outcomes. So they confess. Your payoff will depend on the other person's strategy or action. Guys, do you understand? So based on what I explained initially, okay, what is the set of strategy? Ohineba, are you back? Based on what you said, you didn't understand initially. And I was telling you think is the set of strategy in this case. In this case, we have two strategies. What are they? It looks like your network is really messing up. Okay, can anybody help us? What are the strategies? Can I hear any lady aside Grace? Hey,
Doc.
well, they've gone to Beijing. Yes, Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to try and then.
Yes, please do.
So the strategy is that if both of them don't confess, if Matthew don't confess, and then Anthony too don't confess, both of them will get 2 years.
So
2 years.
in a set, right? So you've spoken about the payoffs. So
Yeah.
what is the strategy? The strategy is just 2. And I mentioned they are what? Yes. My dear, please, who is
This is
it?
Isaac.
Oh, this is Isaac. Isaac, go ahead.
So there's these are either to confess or not
confess. Right. Then after the strategy, we come to Ken. Ken, now, so let's look at the action. So in each of these boxes, there are actions that resulted in payoffs, right? So if assuming we are choosing this part, what was what was Matthew's action here? I hope you can see my cursor here. And what you just explained. Can you just explain something? So what was
So
Matthew's action?
if Matthew don't confess, he'll get 2 years. And then if Anthony don't confess, he'll also get 2 years.
So what was Matthew's action? Here, what did he do?
He didn't confirm.
He did not confess. So I'm just trying to explain to you what I was talking about initially, right? So there are two strategies in the set, okay? But as far as this part is concerned, the action that was taken was not to confess. So don't confess. Do you understand? The set, that is the big S that I wrote, will be for either you cooperate or you defect, or either you confess or you don't confess, right? And then the action is what you chose to do out of the strategy. So in this case, Matthew chose don't confess. So he did not confess in this case, this particular game, okay? Now, these are giving us the payoffs. So as Ken rightly said, if Matthew confesses and Anthony also, if Matthew do not confess and Anthony also do not confess, then both of them are going to get 2 years in prison, right? But if Matthew do not confess and Anthony confesses, confession means that snitch on the other person, right? So if you went and say that, oh yes, we went to this place, we went to this, so thank you very much for the information. Okay, Matthew, your friend says so and so. So Anthony becomes a witness, okay, in this trial. And when Anthony becomes a witness in this trial, Matthew goes to jail for 10 years for not cooperating, and then Anthony goes for only 1 year, okay? Then in this case, we do have that Matthew confesses, Anthony did not confess, and that. Now, how do we identify the best strategy to use? If you were Anthony or you were Matthew, what will you do? What will be your best strategy? What will you do?
I will confess.
You confess.
Yes,
is the name Abdullah?
Yes, Al Hassan.
Okay, Al Hassan. Why will you confess?
Yes. So, since I don't know what, for example, if I'm Matthew, since I don't know what Anthony will do, if I confess, I'm either getting 1 year or 5 years. So 1 year if Anthony refuses to confess, and then 5 years if Anthony decides to also confess. But then if I decide not to confess and Anthony confesses, I get 10 years, which is too high. So that is the reason why I choose confess.
If this was a face-to-face class, I would have given you a chocolate, a bar of chocolate. Please, Evans, remind me. I owe him a bar of chocolate. Remind me. Our face-to-face bar of chocolate.
A bar of max.
So, a what?
Max. Additional max.
Evans.
For the IE.
Evans, are you Al Hassan? Eh?
No, for Hassan. Hassan.
And I'm asking if you are Al Hassan's lawyer.
Al Hassan, which one want? Chocolate or
representing my best interest?
Hey! Okay, that's a good one. Anyway, right. I mean, sorry.
Another explanation. I want to just answer another explanation.
Yes, Ken, go ahead.
So since we are, like, let's say we are all in a prison, and then the CID or whoever said, oh, okay, so Anthony, so let's say the CID said Matthew has said, oh, this is the what you caused or what you have done, what is your action that brought you here. So now the CID have already given information that Matthew are giving him the hint. So now Matthew has become the witness. So if I don't confess, now I become the culprit rather, and then Matthew will be the witness. So why don't I also confess so that we all become witness? We'll all be on the equal.
Right.
I don't know if you get my
yes, I do understand where you are.
Because the CID may tell you that, oh, so Matthew said this is what you have done, and both of you have done, and that brought you here. So now, I've now realized that the information have been given by Matthew to the CID. So now it is on my part for me to also confess whatever the actions or whatever knowledge I know about what brought us both of us here. So you now have to also to confess so that you all be on the same level as witness and then a witness.
Okay. So thank you very much, Ken. But Ken, you see, one thing that that was a good one. One thing game is that the CID or the police is not going to tell you what this person had said, right? Until the game had ended. Okay. So you are being given the strategies and you are being given the possible outcomes. So you just have to choose what you will do. Do you understand? So you just have to choose what you will do. Now, if Anthony confesses, right? If Anthony confesses, that will be honest before the trial. It's not as if, do you understand the whole point?
Yeah.
It's not as if we are trying to, during the trial, you've realized or you have an idea that this is what he has done. You don't know. So now we all don't know what the other person had said, but they've brought the case to you that what happened. You said it's either you say, I don't know, or I know, or you go ahead and explain, oh, I know, but this is what happened. And you explain. And then you become the witness in this case. So we are not even looking at where they've taken it to court, and then because that guy has said so, well, to that point, you had already denied. And so we had already decided to take you to, so it's not it's not an extensive, you would see the difference. So we have the extensive form of the games where the same game will be played several times, okay? Where the same game will be played several times. So you would have an idea that, okay, this person had said this and that person had said this, where you are being asked to confess or not. And once you decide that you don't confess, we take it from there. Once you decide that you confess, we take, so you have no idea, you have no knowledge on what Anthony had done. Okay. So let's bear that in mind. So at the end of the day, we are saying that the strategies are based on the strategy that you choose at the end of the day. Okay. Since your payoff is subject to your strategy. So at the end of the day, and also based on the other person's strategy. So at the end of the day, you weigh the options, okay? So if you are prisoner one, if you are Matthew, now you are weighing the options, -2, okay? If I don't confess, if it's either I'm getting -2 or -10. So it's either I'm getting 2 years in prison or 10 years in prison. That is if I don't confess. So this row is for Matthew, right? This and this is for Matthew. So it's either this one and this. So if I don't confess, these are my payoffs. It's either I'm going to jail for 2 years or I'm going to jail for 10 years. However, if I confess, it's either I get -1 or -5. So I get 1 year in prison or 5 years in prison. Now, 2 and 1, which is more? 2 years is more,
Yes.
right? If I spend 2 years in prison, that's more than this. Now, 10 years and 5 years, which is more? This. So the best thing I'm supposed to do is to choose the confession. I have to confess because I have no idea, I have no knowledge of what Anthony is going to do. Do you understand? So because I have no knowledge of what Anthony is going to do, then my best strategy should be that I confess, since they have lesser years in prison. The same for Anthony. So Anthony's payoffs are here, this and that. Okay. So at the end of the day, if Anthony do not confess, he gets 2 years in prison or 10 years in prison. If Anthony confesses, he gets 1 year in prison or 5 years in prison, depending on Matthew's strategy. So now I weigh the options. One is 2 years or 10 years. If I don't confess, I either get 2 years or 10 years in prison. But if I confess, I either get 1 or 5. They are better than this one. So I would rather confess. So in the prisoner's dilemma, in this case, the best strategy is for you to confess. Now, if both of them had agreed, okay, which we will look at that later, if they can agree, okay, then maybe they could do this. But you would never know what the other person will go and do. Because if you don't confess, that person, like Charlie or Boakra, he said we should all, we should all go and then don't say anything. And at the end of the day, we'll get 2 years when I can get 1 year. Do you understand? So here, Matthew can say that, yeah, this guy, he thinks he's smart. We should do 2 years when I can only do 1 year. So even when you agree, you would have cases where somebody is going to, snitch on the other person, and it would be a problem. The best strategy in this case is to confess. Okay, please, I hope this is clear. Today we said we were doing the introductory, but it looks like we are digging into it more. But please, I hope it's clear, right?
Yes, Doc, it is.
Okay. So let's look at another one. This is a revised version of the prisoner's dilemma. And this one has got to do with benefits, right? So as the first one had got to do with you spending time in jail, this one has got to do with benefits. So assuming you have two players in this case, okay? Now, we are saying that it's either somebody is giving you money, right? So two players, Matthew and Anthony, and Evans is giving you guys money. Why am I using? No, Al Hassan is giving you money. I should even change this one and use Debian. Which other name? I have Ken. I have
No,
Ken.
no,
Ken, who will you pair with? We have who?
I said we are fine.
You are fine, eh?
With the names.
I
Don't
hear.
worry at all.
Okay. Let me use Grace. Okay, so we have Grace and Ken. So we have two players, Ken and Grace, right? Now, Evans is giving you guys money. But this is what Evans, the money is not coming from any of you. Evans is the one who is giving you money. But what Evans is saying is that now, Evans, it's either you take uh, uh, 1,000 Ghana cedis, okay? You take 1,000 Ghana cedis, or I give Grace, did I say Evans? Ken, it's either you take 1,000 Ghana cedis, or I give Grace 3,000. So just choose, what do you want? Now, Evans will say, oh, you can go ahead and give Grace the 3,000, okay? The same thing would be proposed to Grace. Grace, it's either you receive 1,000 or you give your opponent, Ken, 3,000. So what do I do? Should I give him 3,000 or I think some guys have been doing this thing I've seen somebody doing this on social media. So he comes to you and tell you that what should I give to the next person or something? And then he said, oh, give the next person an iPhone or give the next person this, something like that. But in this particular, you ask the person to give your friend the 3,000 Ghana cedis. In this case, if Ken decide to cooperate by asking them to give the money to Grace, right? It's either he gets 3,000 if Grace also decide that they should give the money to him, or he can decide that they give it to Grace and he doesn't get anything. And at the end of the day, Grace will decide that he will take the money and she will get 4,000. Please, I don't know if you understand this. The strategy is this. Please come again.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Please, so with the first one that we looked at, let's say two prisoners who aren't friends, who don't know each other. But this one is kind of some corporate friends, or let's say a group of people who are a syndicate working together, who would want both sides to win. Or I just want us to do a little differentiation between the first one and the second one, using a lot more practical examples.
Okay. So in this case, the first one is not as if the prisoners, it's not as if they don't know each other. They do know each other. They are friends, right? And they went to steal together. However, they put them in different cells. So you don't know what the other person will do. You don't know whether the other person is going to snitch or not. So you don't know whether the other person is going to cooperate or not. That's the whole idea. In this case, it's also the same thing. You are two friends. Grace and Ken are friends. Now, Evans goes to see Ken separately, and Evans tells Ken that, Ken, I'm giving you two options. Should I give Grace 3,000 or I should give you 1,000? That's just the game. It's either you get 1,000 or we should give your friend 3,000. If we give your friend 3,000, you don't get anything, right? It means that you sacrificed your 1,000 for your friend to get more. That's the whole idea. Now, the same thing is being proposed to Grace, okay? That Grace, I have two options for you. Should I give Ken 3,000 and you don't get anything, or I should give you 1,000 and you go? Either you take 1,000 and walk, or we should give Ken the money. If you say we should give Ken the money, we will give him, or we will triple it. So we'll give him 3 instead of 1,000. But if you take the money, we are going to spend 1,000. Anthony, is it clear now?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So these two friends have been giving these proposals, right? Now, Grace can choose to say that, oh, you give it to Ken, right? It's not as if both of them are just as the prisoner's dilemma, both of them don't know what each other person will say. So Grace will choose to take the 1,000 or would choose to let them give the 3,000 to Ken, right? Ken also would either choose the 1,000 or would ask them to give the 3,000 to Grace. So the first one is when both of them say that, oh no, I won't take the money. I would rather you give it to my friend. So if Ken does that and Grace also does that, then Ken will get 3,000 as a result of Grace's action. So this is where both of them in some corner, they had said, oh, you give the money to Grace. And Grace too had said, oh, you give the money to Ken. Then at the end of the day, they will both get 3,000, right? Now, if Grace says, oh, you give the money to Ken. As for Ken, he's my friend. I really like him. So you give the money to Ken, right? And Ken decides that he will take the money. Ken decides that he will take the money, right? What will happen? It means that because of Grace's action, this will be the outcome, right? In this case, Grace says, oh, Ken is my friend, so you give the money to him. And Ken said, yeah, I'll take the 1,000 and go. So what is Ken getting? Ken is getting 1,000 plus 3,000, and Grace gets nothing. Do you see it? And this case, this is when this person said, nah, me, Grace, nah, I don't really trust them. If I say you should give her the 3,000, and then maybe later I'll go and see her and ask her to give me 1,500, that girl, she know they give me, nah. She even said that she didn't even meet you. She didn't even get any money from you. So me, I'll take my 1,000 and go. Why should I give Grace 3,000 when I can get 1,000 for myself? Nah, I'll take the money and go. This will be the result. If Grace says, oh, that guy, Massa, even if he takes the money, he will send another lady to the restaurant too. Let me just take my 1,000 and go on my way. And Grace also decides to take the 1,000. Then this will be the outcome. Guys, do we understand? So in this case, what is the best strategy? What is the best strategy? Looking at Grace's outcome as a result of the strategy that he uses, she would use, and the strategy that Ken uses, and then Ken's outcome, depending on his strategy and Grace's strategy, what should be the best strategy?
I think both cooperative.
So both
I think
cooperating.
so that makes Grace the highest earner.
Exactly. So what do we do? What will be the best strategy? You don't know what the other person will do. So what will you do?
So I'll defect.
You defect, right? Because over here, right? Over here, if Ken decides to defect, he's either getting 4,000 or 1,000, right? If he cooperates, he's getting either 3,000 or 0, depending on Grace's strategies. So 3,000 and 4,000, 0 and 1,000. Which one will I choose? I'll choose a defect. The same for Grace. Grace will have, if she cooperates, she gets either 3,000 or 0. Now, but if she defects, she either gets 4,000 or 1,000. So the best strategy in this game for both players will be to defect. Guys, these are the things that we have to look at as far as these are concerned. We'll look at pure strategies and mixed strategies. But before that, we won't look at that today. But before that, let me look at, now let us move into the firm. And then I think I've not given you any time for break. Please let me do up to 3 p.m., right? Evans and Grace. No, let me ask the women. Debbie, Grace, Jennifer, can we do up to 3 and close?
Yes, madam.
Yes, Doc.
Or you would want, hey, Debbie, you see, now I'm hearing Debbie's voice.
Doc.
I see. Okay, so Evans, we do up to 3 and close, right?
Yes, please.
That's what the women are saying.
It's
So
fine.
you didn't even listen to the second option. And the second option was to give you a break and then we do an extra hour. Okay, since the women have spoken, we can move on. Okay, so let's look at what we call the connoduopoly. Okay, now I'm just using what we have done in a more vivid example so that we have an idea of what we are talking about. What is a duopoly? So in this one, I think I'll just write and then subsequently we'll look at in detail. Guys, what is a duopoly?
If mono is 1, then duo is 2. So 2 taking charge of the market structure and the market system.
That's a very good one. Okay. So if we talk about a duopoly, we are looking at 2 firms, right? Now, what I mentioned with monopoly was, no, I think when somebody was explaining perfect competition, right? And I think I mentioned something. I homogeneous product, right? So the same good. So in a duopoly, we are also looking at 2 firms that produce identical goods, okay? So given these 2 firms producing identical goods, assuming that, let me, okay, so we have 2 firms producing identical goods, right? And then we are saying that their marginal cost is C. I hope we know what a marginal cost is. For the benefit of those who have not looked at micro yet, please, the June group, can anybody help us with what the marginal cost is?
I think it's additional cost of producing an additional unit.
Right. So it's linked to additional units, right? So we have, in this case, we have the marginal cost to be C. So each firm decides how much to produce without knowing the production decision of the other firm, okay? In this particular game, right? So there are 2 firms. Assuming, I wanted a vivid example, but I don't know 2 firms in Ghana, because what I know is an oligopoly. Oligopoly where we have several, like a few firms, right? But a duopoly, do we have a duopoly? Maybe Zoom Lion and what's the name of the guys who have even been coming here? There's another. Sorry? Bastard Boys. Okay, so assuming Bastard Boys, it was a firm, right? So in this case, there are 2 main big companies. I mean, it's even a product. Then it means that in the firm, it's only these 2, right? So in that case, for us to consume the product, it will be based on the production of these 2 companies. Okay. So how many goods do we have in the market? We have lots of goods in the market, but they are produced by these 2. So this is 30 and firm 2 produces 20. Then it means that we have 50 of the goods in the market. Okay. So we are saying that firm 1 will not tell the other firm that, oh, this year I'm going to produce 20. And firm 2 is not going to tell firm 1 that I'm going to produce 30 or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the number of goods in the market will determine the price of the product. And I hope we all know the law of demand, right? The law of demand. If we have less, the prices will go up. I hope you remember that law.
Yes, Doc.
And if we have more of the good in the market than we need, then there's going to be issues of surpluses, isn't it? And at the end of the day, we are going to see
Prices come down.
the prices exactly. So in this case, whatever the price in the market will be based on how much the 2 companies or the two firms are producing. So I don't know if you are getting this scenario. Two companies producing. Each of them is what I'm producing. The other one will not tell the other what he's producing. But at the end of the day, the total production that we have in the market will determine the price of the product. Then, what do? Based on the price of the product, we will get our profits, isn't it? In the same way, if the prices are higher, it's like we will get more this thing. But it also depend on how much I produced, because the profit is also based on the price and also the quantity that is I produced. So if I use all the demand and the supply analysis that you have done in micro to understand some of these things, the more we have the goods in the market, the prices are likely to come down. But at the end of the day, you, the company that's produced more, whatever you would have will also be based on the quantity that you produced and the price on the market. Okay. So this is what we have. At the end of the day, you cannot change your price because we are looking at a market price. So you can't say that I am going to charge mine by this much, and then the other person is going to say that I'm going to charge. We have just a market price. So everything is based on that particular market price. Number, assuming 50, right? Then the market price will be that demand function based on the quantity of products that you. So if you would remember what an inverse demand function is and what the normal demand function is, I think you would have an idea. So then the inverse demand function is a function of this, right? So price as a function of quantity. And then the other one is just the normal. So you have Q is equal to maybe some constant plus the unit price times whatever it is, the quantity. Please, you understand?
Yes, please.
Yes, doc.
Guys, okay. So given the market price, this year's dog there, it looks like there is no vim in it. There is no vim, but please, bit by bit. Next week I will go over again. But I'm sure that maybe if I give you the slide, you'd appreciate the notes. You also appreciate it better. But whatever it is, if you don't understand anything, please ask, okay? And don't say that if I go and read, maybe I'll understand. Maybe as she's talking, says that you don't understand. Kindly let me know. So at the end of the day, we are saying that this is the price, the market price. The market price is based on how much has been produced, okay? So in this case, we have this. So if we want the price, we could as well say that it is based on X. I wanted to use subscript 1, but I have to do a lot of things. So you accept this for me. X1 plus X2. So all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, this X here represents how much the first firm produced and how much this firm produced. So the price is based on how much firm 1 produced plus how much firm 2 produced. This and this is the same. This is the total production in the market, and this is also the total production. Just that this one, we are explicitly saying that firm 1 produced this and firm 2 produced. So that at the end of the day, the price, assuming this produced 30 and this produced this, you say that the price is based on the 50 quantity of products that's there. So what will be the profit? We all know what the profit looks like. The profit is what? The quantity that has been produced, right? Times the price, isn't it? Minus the cost times the quantity that has been produced. So basically, we are looking at marginal revenue. We are looking at the total revenue minus what? The total cost, isn't it? Guys,
Yes.
why are we quiet when we go to economics? Okay, so our profit is equal to what? The total revenue minus the total cost, isn't it? So at the end of the day, the profit for firm 1 is going to be the total revenue for firm 1, right? Minus the total cost for firm 1. However, the total revenue is subject to the output of firm 2. Do you
Yes.
remember that? Because the price is subject to firm 1's output and what? Firm 2's output. Is this clear?
Yes, Doc, it is.
Let's go.
Okay. So in this case, assuming so this is where I like to do this, but with the slide, the document I'll give you, you have a better view. So, what's this? So that the profit here will be, I'm representing the profit with this into bracket, the price, which is subject to this plus this, right? Minus the marginal cost, okay? And this should be based on the price. So at the end of the day, we are saying that the pi here is a function of this. However, if we want to write for firm 1, so for firm 1, right? Firm 1's profit will be pi 1, right? And that pi 1 will be equal to the price x1 plus x2, right? In this case, times, this is I, okay? So times what? How much firm 1 produced? Do you understand? Minus the marginal cost times how much firm 1 produced. Okay? Guys, do we understand this part?
Yes, please.
Okay. Nene, you're the only one who understands. Where are the rest? Debbie, do you understand?
Yes,
Doc,
Doc.
Doc, we are
I'm
we are
here.
here.
I'm here
Okay.
with you.
Okay.
Small,
So
small,
basically, sorry?
small.
Small. So basically, we are saying that in this case, we have this for firm 1, and if we should put 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here, that will be the profit for firm 2. Okay. So now in this case, what do you think is who do you think are the players? Let me ask this last question and then we close. Who are the players? So in this particular game, who are the players?
Firm 1 and firm 2.
Firm 1 and firm 2. Good. So the various firms, firm 1 and firm 2, what are the strategies? What are the strategies?
Doc, please, is there quantity to produce?
Sorry?
Is there quantity to produce?
Oh, Peter.
Yes, Doc.
Peter, why are you behaving like a typical man today is Valentine's Day, we don't do that. Eh? The woman will ask you, what shall I prepare? Then you are asking, you
Anything
know
you
very well you want to eat banku. Instead of you to say banku, then you're like,
can you prepare back?
can you
Please,
prepare banku? Is there banku? Or Masa, say it as it is, and let's go.
please, quantity to produce is the strategy here.
Exactly. The choice of the level of production, right?
Yes.
So in this case, we have the production. That's a good one. I'm sure Grace will even tell me that they like saying it's okay, anything. Grace, isn't it? Or Debbie? I think I've given him a lot of
Yes.
credit because they like to say anything. Okay, so we have the level of production. Then we have, what is next? What is next? The elements.
Payoff.
Payoff, right?
Yes.
So what in this case will be the payoffs?
Profit.
Doc, please.
Profit.
Sorry? Profit.
Profit.
Good. So the profits are the payoffs. Now, what about information?
The information is the price that exists on the market.
The price that exists on the market. What else?
Then the total quantity produced. Or
That will be after the strategy. I mean, that's also a very good information. But prior to that, what do we know? Even the price, there's something that we need to know. Okay, so let me help you with this. So, as far as the information is concerned, both firms know that they are the only two firms on the market. That's the first information. Now, both firms also know that the price, okay? So they know that if I produce this and the other person produce that, this will be the price that will be on the market. They know that if we produce more and we have excess, we will have less price, and so our profit might fall. They have all that information. They also know, right, that it takes this much to produce the item. Okay, they know that it takes this much to produce the item. What they don't know is how much the person is going to produce and how much the other person is also going to produce.
Yes, yes,
Is that clear?
yes, doctor. Yes.
Okay. So at the end of the day, if we have such a game, I think we'll be looking at vivid examples where we have to do some computations and come up with some of the best strategies. Guys, for our assignment, we've looked at the Kono duopoly. Let's go and look at what we call the Bertrand duopoly. Bertrand duopoly. Let me write the Bertrand here. The Bertrand duopoly. So let's go and look at what the Bertrand duopoly is.
Yes,
Yes,
we
You
have.
doc.
have, you have groups.
No.
Yes.
Which,
Yes, we have.
For
which
June, we
people have
have.
groups and which people do not?
June, we
We
have.
all think
June.
we have.
Yes.
Okay, so Grace's batch you don't have. So Grace, maybe you guys will form a group. I heard you guys are 9. Maybe you can form a group of 3. Okay, you can form a group of 3. Or if the others, I think it will be best we link all of you up so that they will join your groups too. They will join the existing group that you have. How many
Yeah.
groups? Evans, how many groups do you have?
I think we are left with just about 2 or 3 courses to go, and they have more. So it will be better for them to have their group so that for the other courses that we are not doing with them, they can
Yes, so
do it in their
I
respective
know they will
courses.
have their groups, but I'm talking about for the purposes of this particular
I
class.
think we have
And
we have 5 groups.
okay. Okay, so you have
Yeah.
5 groups.
Yes.
So if we Grace, what would you prefer? Do you prefer your own groups or you would want to join the 5 groups? Any of the 5 groups? Is Grace with me? Is that being the same class? Who is in the January? Sorry? Is my network on off or something?
No, it's on.
Doctor,
Okay. Okay, so guys, let me not waste your time on this. So please decide on what to do. Evans, I'll pick the decision from you,
Okay.
right? On what they are agreed to do. So guys, please go and read on the Bertrand duopoly, also on Nash equilibrium. And I don't know if I should give, or you all do the same thing. To go and do will not be subject to some assessment, okay? It's just for you to better appreciate what we are doing and also for the purposes of the next class. For assignments, I would alert you if I have any assignments for you, and Evans will let you know, okay? But in the meantime, please read on the Bertrand duopoly and then on Nash equilibrium, right? So God willing, next week we'll complete that and then we'll do the extensive games. If we do have time, we would, which I'm sure we would look at some vivid examples and then we move on to the next topic. So I'm thinking we are using 2 weeks to do game theory, 2 weeks for the mechanism, and so on and so forth. So we are sharing it based on the number of weeks that I'm supposed to meet you guys. I'll share the outline, the course outline, as I mentioned with you on LMS. Please, guys, try as much as possible to visit the school's LMS, and then you would get all the information, the resources as far as this course is concerned. I'll also be engaging you there, especially on some forums. I can ask a question there, and I'll expect that you contribute, you would answer accordingly. Okay. I know some of you don't like the idea, but how we go do one. Thank you so much. It's been nice having you all. Let me see if I can have a few names recorded in memory. Oh, somebody answered a question and I didn't see. Forgive me. I think James Entry. James Entry. I know of a James Entry who sings. James, do you sing?
Oh no.
You don't sing. Even your own no shows that you don't sing.
Another
Okay.
artist.
A what?
Another artist.
An upcoming artist?
Yes, please.
Hey, I see. Okay, that's cool. All right, so thank you very much. Debbie, you said your Zoom was acting up. I do hope that you got most of the things that we
Yes,
spoke
I
about.
did.
If not,
I did.
right. So if not, if you don't understand anything within the week and I have time, maybe you can send me a message or something, and I'll be happy to respond to you.
Okay, Doc.
All right.
So much for your time.
So thank you all for your time. It's been fun. Just that which I'm not happy about. Maybe Pastor Fred, I just hope you are not in church. Maybe next week, Pastor Fred, you'd answer some questions for me, and Patrick, and who else? Moses, and all that. I'll hear from you. Kelvin Otin, and all that. The women have left me, or what? Jennifer is here, but Jennifer didn't talk. Jenny?
Yes, Doc.
Hey, Jennifer, why didn't you talk?
At a point in time, my network was really fluctuating, but now I have moved from where I was from the onset.
Since you've moved, then I
So I
think we
can hear
can
you
do.
clearly. Next week I'll talk.
Oh, I
in our
thought we
next
could
meeting.
do extra 30 minutes so that at least you'd. Jennifer,
Hello.
should we do extra 30 minutes so that at least you catch up? Oh, the network is going off again. Okay, I'm just kidding. Guys, thank you so much. Thanks for your time and see you next week. Please, let's catch up on LMS, I beg. It's very important. Okay. All right. Please do enjoy your weekend, and the singles enjoy your Valentine. As for the married guys, I'm sure their wives and their husbands have already wished them. So the singles, do well to enjoy your Valentine and take care. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Doug.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Kale, Ekuyana. Hey, what's that? I swear. Oh, but Charlie Kaza, go kill him. Charlie, when say you start hunting them is true.
Oh yeah, you need to need James or there.
Oh yeah, kill about some James.
So I think we'll meet next week. And we don't have any lecture on Sunday.
Charlie, almost next week. You want campus, Anna?
No, it's 28th.
This month.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's 28th. Okay.
Hello, Evan. So it means for now we don't have anything like lectures on Sundays, right?
Yes.
No, Charlie. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Hey, where's per massage? And as a girl's not per massage.
Hey, so
we don't have anything. Yes. Yeah. So Sunday we are free.
And I'm a couple.
That am at the pan, Charlie. I think this semester is going to be friendly to us. In the amount of time,
I hope so. Let's see.
This is an impression, Charlie.
Charlie, we've not done anything.
No, Master, I'm here. Who is that? Some supervisor.
Hey, Kevin, what's your
Okay.
Yo, Charlie, everyone's in there.
Rebecca, sir.
All right.